Once upon a time, the relationship between Russia and Ukraine was a strained one. While they shared a common history and culture, the two countries had grown apart over time. Relations between them had deteriorated to such an extent that the two sides found themselves engaged in a brutal war. The conflict began in 2014, when Ukraine's pro-Russian president was forced out of office. In response, Russia annexed Crimea, a peninsula in Ukraine's southern region. This led to protests in Ukraine's eastern provinces, which were met with military force by the Russian army. Soon, the conflict had turned into a full-blown war. The fighting lasted for several years, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Ukraine's army was ill-equipped to take on the Russian military, but they fought valiantly against overwhelming odds. The conflict drew in other nations, with Russia receiving support from China, while Ukraine was backed by the United States and several European countries. The war was fought on several fronts, with battles taking place in cities and countryside alike. The armies would often use artillery barrages and airstrikes to gain an advantage over their enemies. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, with many losing their homes and businesses. As the conflict dragged on, it became clear that neither side was willing to back down. However, in 2019, the two sides finally signed a peace agreement. It was hoped that the deal would bring an end to the fighting, but tensions between the two nations remained high. Today, the scars of the war are still visible. The conflict has left thousands dead, and many more struggling to rebuild their lives. The relationship between Russia and Ukraine remains one of mistrust and animosity, and many fear that another conflict could one day break out.